Well, hi, Bokeem.
Hi,
I'm with Awards Buzz. How are
I'm
you?
good. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm totally looking forward to speaking with you today. It would be absolutely remiss of me to not mention that you have been one of my favorite actors,
Me?
of course, since Jason's lyrics.
Thank you.
This is huge for me. This is absolutely huge. And
Thank
I
you.
want to, Bokeem, just get straight to it.
Okay.
Bootsy.
Huh.
You play the character Bootsy throughout this comedy series. What was it like tapping into your character role?
It was so much fun to tap into Bootsy because I see him as a canvas where I can leave my own interpretation impression of a character that maybe we think we've seen before, the kind of lovable rogue or the ne'er do well with a heart, or however you might want to classify somebody like this who's not really a bad guy, but occasionally does bad things.
Yes.
Um, you know, these are characters that we love as audiences. I love watching a Bucci type character on screen. Now's my opportunity to give my rendition of a Bucci type character. And so it's a lot of responsibility. But I felt very close to the character. He reminded me of me at a certain time in my life, let's say. Uh, and I was really relishing the opportunity to put my spin on a character that, like as I said, we might feel we recognize a little bit. And so it was a lot of challenges, a lot of pressure I put on myself, but I felt like it was easy to tap into him, to use your vernacular. It was easy to tap into him one way, but challenging to express my interpretation of him because it's a different time period. There's all different kinds of other challenges with that. So it wasn't easy, but it was a lot of fun every day. It was so much fun to try to get to the truth of who this man is.
Yeah, no, I love that response to, my question. I think coming from huge projects like Dead Presidents, of course, again, Jason's Lyric, Queen Slam, Ripley, Earth Mama, the list goes on and on and on. Soul Food. How do you feel like this character and this project pulls something out of you that you've yet to tap into throughout your career so far?
I do. I really do think that it was a new challenge for me, and it gave me opportunity to do something I haven't had a chance to do before because he's a relatively simple cat. And I've played more complex characters in the past, or people who've had, you know, more challenges and a myriad of different obstacles in their life at the time that we find them. But here's a guy who's relatively simple. You know, his needs, his desires, his goals are pretty simple. So that was the challenge. How do I find my pace, which is uh, in my own life more ambitious, more hungry, more it's more things I want out of life. How do I find peace with this guy who's at peace with so little? He lives in a
Yeah.
camper and he's okay about it. He's not complaining. You know what I mean? Like that. He's okay with that. That blows my mind. So um, that's the challenge with playing Bootsy.
What was it like working so closely with David on this series?
It was great. Every moment that I got to work with David was like a party, and it's a lot of pressure working with David. Um, he's one of the best in the game right now. So there's a lot of pressure. Any actor that works with him will tell you the same thing. It's like, wow, I'm working with David. You know what I mean? That having been said, I prepared, you know, very thoroughly to the best of my ability. So that gave me more of an ability to kind of relax and enjoy the experience. Like we were cracking up. We were having a ball. It was
Yeah.
so much fun working with him. I can't even tell you. It was a blast. So yeah, every day that I got a chance to work with him, I was like, okay, great. This is gonna be a fun day. You
You've been doing this for quite some time, Bokeem. 109 projects to date.
Wow.
Yes, I've definitely done my research. When we are talking about preparedness and how you set yourself up for this character that you are, tasked with becoming, what does that journey look like for you? Like, is there a meditation? Is there prayer? Is there, stepping away from the family for a couple of days? Like, what are you doing to really dig into this person that you have to become for the next couple of weeks, months, or heck, even years,
Uh,
character wise?
for Bootsy, um, I
Or
was
just in general, Bokeem.
oh in general. Oh,
Yeah,
in
like,
general.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I would say if you want to speak in general terms, I would say for me, this is a double-edged sword. The blessing is that when I go on location, um, the family stays home. So it's extremely lonely, to be honest with you, because I'm 51, not 15, so I don't party like I used to. So there's no refuge in the revelry and mirth like there used to be. You know what I mean? It's me in the gym or on the set or in the room trying to be honest. So the loneliness helps me because there's nothing to do but dive in. There's nothing to do but be immersed in the work and the process. And I find it very helpful. Um, some guys they uh, bring their families along intermittently. It's because they have a lot of money. So they can they can no, I'm serious. Like they'll set their family up in one house and then have a whole separate other living arrangement where they can go dive in and this, that, and the other and blah 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 blah. With me, when I'm with my family, I'm all about my family. It's 100% family time every moment. Even when they want some of their own time, they're like, no, daddy's here, we're all about the family thing. Um, but I would say probably nowadays it's about 5 months out of the year where it's just me um, working on getting it right, trying to figure out how to be honest in every single moment I have on screen. So it's a lonely process, but I love it because um, I like the idea of having a mission, and I think a lot of men do, and it could be anything. It could be washing your car on the weekend, or driving up the coast to go see some old friends, or even whatever your job is. If you have a mission mindset, like this is not just my job, this is a mission. I'm on a mission. I'm on assignment right now. It's a good feeling. You feel like you have purpose, and to be immersed in that purpose every waking hour to some extent. You know what I mean? Like you take breaks, watch your favorite TV program or whatever. There's little things you have to do to break the monotony, and that's very healthy. But generally speaking, you're just wrapped up in this goal, um, and I love it, and it gives me the freedom to just literally become this person, walk around in this person's skin. So by the time the cameras are rolling, I feel very comfortable because I haven't been doing nothing else but that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If that makes
And I
sense, and I
think,
answer your question.
and no, I love that. I love that answer. And I think, speaking of purpose, would you say your character Bootsy had purpose? Because it's such an interesting dynamic because although he was somewhat up to wrongdoing,
Hmm.
he still had a good heart and wanted to see, Hampton like come out winning with something, right?
Yeah.
And there was also that faith-based element of this series, right? So there's wrongdoing going on without giving too much away, but you know, believer, in a higher being. And just again, I'm trying to think of like a different way to say it, but at the end all be all, this was, from my perspective, a faith-based project.
Mm,
So what was it like, peeling back that element of your character's role?
mm. Interesting. I think Bootsy represents kind of the notion that there can be several paths to the same truth. And just like in the world today, you have many different wonderful human beings, at least I've encountered, who are followers of different type of faiths. A person can follow this path and pray this way. A person can follow this path and pray that way. A person can follow this path and not pray at all. But they're all wonderful people. And if you kick back and without judgment, just kind of like observe, you might notice some similarities in what it is they're saying. It might be a different scripture or a different mantra or a different perspective. But ultimately, it's all similar in so much as what's going to ground you or liberate you or guide you or inspire you to be the best person you can be. And so Bootsy, his spiritual path is very different than Hampton's. It's less didactic. It doesn't necessarily come from the same dogmatic source, but they still like two peas in a pod, like freaking frack. And I think that the show illustrates that quite wonderfully. There's no need really to be judgmental of your brother. Your brother is your brother, however uh, he philosophizes or experiences life, irregardless. And I think that that's a good message to put out there, to be open to the different paths that people take, because it ultimately leads to the same place if you're a good person. I think.
No, I love that. And before I let you go, because I know that we have to soon wrap, who is the one person you lean on the absolute most in your life? Like, who has been that, motivating,
Uh,
encouraging, supportive person consistently?
ever since I met my wife, I would say it's definitely her. There were a few times I literally was about to just quit, for lack of a better uh, moniker. I was about to give up a few times, and she was just like, "Look, you just have too much to give, so we can't have that. You can't quit." And so yeah, hands down, ever since I met my wife, it'll be my wife. Yeah.
I love it. I'm so happy you did not quit. It's so much
Thank you.
more for us
Thank
to
you.
see and get from you, Boheme. Such an honor, such a pleasure to speak with you today.
Thank
I
you.
cannot wait for people to see this series and see what Bootsy is up to. Thank you so much for your time today, and
Thank you.
a pleasure speaking with you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.